Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast that wouldn't die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool will give up a chance for a 30% discount.
Godzilla Minus One.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Hey!
This week, we're discussing the science fiction classic Godzilla Minus One, starring many Japanese actors whose names I do not know. So
That seems racist. I felt like you should have learned their names for the...
Trust me, when we get to the cast and crew, there's going to be a lot of kind of creative pronunciations. I'm going to do my best, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with me, for God's sakes.
I did try to do Duolingo when I was going to Japan, and I was okay until they're like, "Oh no, now we're just going to work on kanji." I was like, "Oh shit!"
What's kanji?
Like, let's put
conjugation.
No, the writing, the lettering.
Oh,
let's remember that shape and associate a sound with it. Now let's put the shapes together, and now it's a word. And I was like, "Oh Lord."
No,
I was like, wrong. That was the worst. I was shell shocked, and I had trauma. And I was like, I'm just going to go back to the Romance languages that I haven't been able to learn in 5 years.
I think Duolingo is great, but I think it assumes that you know a little bit of the language going in, right? Because they'll just throw other words at you. And that's assuming, like we're saying, Romance languages where you can kind of sound it out, even if you're like, oh, okay. So the R sounds like this. So
right.
That's a little
but
bit
you
different.
learned a little bit of the structure. And a lot of them are similar to words we use in American, since, we're the melting pot. Now, not when you start throwing up whole new alphabets and you're like, oh,
forget it.
Shit.
That's a bridge too
far. That's
far.
why when I would go to the conveni to get my famous Japanese egg salad sandwiches for breakfast, and the people would shout the greeting, I'd just be like, ah.
Now you just kind of moan at them like a zombie? Like it's one cut of the dead?
There's a thing you're supposed to shout back, and I never learned it. So I'd just be like, ah.
Can't you say konnichiwa and call it a day? No?
I don't know. Why don't I just shout out fish or something too?
Konnichiwa means like hello. What are we doing?
That's not what you're supposed to respond to them, though.
Anyway. Well, in Spanish, I've learned this.
The people at Lawson's in Osaka, they'll remember me.
I bet they will. That's the special needs person wandering around moaning at them. Go ahead.
And buying more egg salad sandwiches.
Sweet Jesus. Anyway, each week on the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genres with a comedic twist. Other than your difficulty with Japanese, how's life treating you, Aaron? What's the latest?
We just had my birthday celebration, and I don't think I'm fully recovered. We did the Roper walk, and you were Leisure Suit Larry. And I really feel I gained 3 pounds. Thank you. And No, it's gonna be. I need more time to recover. I'm
So,
exhausted.
but you didn't. Were you boozing it up? I don't remember you being super boozy. Were you booze
No, I
town?
wasn't super boozy, but I'm super bougie. But
True.
no, but it's like if I have like 3 drinks throughout the day, then I
Throughout the
sleep like
weekend.
shit. I sleep like shit. And so now I'm sleep deprived and cranky. But let's start drinking. I'm like, no, don't drink yet.
I
Yeah.
find that I'm only like super like relaxed when I'm in my own bed at home. You know what I mean? It's like when I'm somewhere else, even if the bed's decent, I
Yeah.
still find that I'm kind of like I'm not able to be as restful at night.
Right. I mean, it ain't like college days. Let's just say that.
That's where you just fall asleep wherever the hell you hit the
Wherever
flow.
the hell, and sleep like a champ. I
100%.
remember distinctly. If I just keep it under 6 beers, I'm solid. No hangover here. Now it's like that I would be projectile vomiting.
You
It
do
would
become
not work.
you think you build up a tolerance. And I guess if you're like a hardcore alcoholic, maybe you do. But if you just occasionally have a drink, there's no tolerance. And in fact, it seems like your tolerance goes away as you get
It
older.
does. As they say, it's practice, practice, practice.
Practice makes perfect. Absolutely. No question. No, we also karaoke'd Friday night, right?
My voice is still a little frizzle frazzled.
That's
On the
upsetting.
wings of love, only the two of us together flying high.
Is Jeffrey Osborne with us right now?
It's amazing.
Who is still
It's
alive, by the way?
amazing.
We thought
You can see my one woman Vegas show.
that's
I'll be at the
right.
Sphere.
Oh, please. If someone would pay me, I'd become like a lounge singer right now. No
Dude.
question. No question. So,
Dude, I saw swingers. Those kids over at the Dresden. They were
Those
not. Now I
kids?
can't play I can't play an instrument, but those old folks singing along, we can at least do that.
absolutely we can. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, would I have to learn a guitar, or could I just play like a karaoke tape? Right? And I
No,
just
it
have a
would have to
microphone.
be yeah, we're not. We've all tried to learn various instruments. I have took piano for years. Can't play the piano. I took cello, trombone, guitar, a
Guitar.
recorder, an Irish tin whistle. I can't play shit. I can still find middle C on the piano, but that ain't taking you far.
You can't have a whole song, just the middle C. That would be upsetting. Yeah. Sweet Jesus. No,
Yeah.
karaoke is one of my favorite things to do in the world. So it's like, I think the next several birthday parties we attend of our various siblings will include some part of karaoke, if I had to guess.
Oh, and why not? And why wouldn't you? And
there's-
private karaoke is the best of all.
See, it's the good thing about private karaoke is you can just sing as much as you want. Oh, it's my turn again, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of like the strange audience. This is my old drama background. I want to work the crowd of a strange audience and have them realize, not bad, not great, but I'm not running out of the room screaming when K Dog steps to the mic. That's what I'm looking for.
This is where you've become delusional. Just because they're not outwardly rude to you, it doesn't mean they accept your voice. The problem with public karaoke is you get one pop and the DJ was like, she sounds like shit. We're putting the rest of her requests at 4 in the morning. And you get the same jackasses going up over and over and over.
This is true. But the secret is, I've learned this, is every time you go up with a request, you slip a $5 with the request. And then suddenly you're top of the list. If all you do is like...
That's my beer money.
I'm just saying, that's the secret. Otherwise, you're right. They're going to hit their regulars. The regulars are going up there 2 and 3 times every time some rando K-Dog steps up. Like, hey, what about... I put in my Careless Whisper 20 minutes ago. What's going on here?
Hey, man. Yeah,
Right.
see, I'm already angry thinking about it. If you need voyeurs to come and watch
need
you
voyeurs.
perform,
I need voyeurs,
then
Aaron.
just grab a couple of freaks from the bar at the private karaoke.
Well, there's
It could
nothing.
be like a blue velvet thing. They could sit there with their oxygen
That's what I want.
and watch you sing "Careless Whisper" again, Kevin.
Please do. That's what I want. I've had it where strange women come up and say, "Hey, would you sing Summer Nights with us?" Because they know I'm down.
Oh yeah, and your wife loves that, I'm sure.
Well, this was years ago, obviously. I don't frequent the karaoke bars as much as I used to.
And you've been married like what, 35 years? I don't
It's
even
coming
know.
up on 35. Yeah, good stuff. Jesus. Anywho, why don't we reel it in and talk about Godzilla Minus One? What is your 30-second synopsis, Aaron, please?
All right. I was prepared to hate this, as I hate everything that's not the original Godzilla, which I have a special, special place in my heart. All right. I don't know if you know this. This takes place during World War II. Country devastated. People angry with their government. They're at their lowest low. Oh, no, they're not. Because something's about to drop that is going to tear their world apart. Not the atom bomb, but their version of the atom bomb, which is a little thing called Godzilla. And it's taking people at their lowest and taking it even lower as this thing just cuts through Japan, just absolutely destroying. Families are gone. Everyone's gone. And they can't deal with it. They can't get rid of it. And it's a story about a kamikaze pilot who decided, screw this, I ain't going to be a kamikaze. And he handles business and redeems himself. And all is right with the world, happy ending. Or is it?
Boom, boom, boom. Now, this was your first viewing. Is that correct?
First viewing, and it was not what I expected.
Fair. I saw this in the theater when it first came out with some school associates. And it's a funny way to say it. And I think they re-released it like a month or so later in black and white to like kind of emulate the original kind of look for it. And I didn't know anything about it going in. I just figured it was old school Godzilla back doing his thing. But it's interesting to talk about. Like, there have been multiple iterations of Godzilla, right? The one that we all grew up and appreciated was the dude in the rubber suit.
Dude in the rubber suit. I still prefer that Godzilla. I like that Godzilla, the creature. I like that creature. I didn't care for the look of this Godzilla.
Ooh, interesting.
The story was interesting, but I mean, he wasn't that far. It was like anime rubber suit with the little praying mantis arms.
That not entirely. But what's interesting is they tried to emulate the original look of Godzilla for this. Now, it's not a dude in a suit anymore. It is CGI.
No.
But I always think back, the movie we have never done, and maybe we never will, was I think it was 1999 Godzilla with Matthew Broderick, Hank Azaria, and the rest of the gang. And it
just sounds terrible. It
was horrible. It was horrible.
My kids had the giant Godzilla action figure that had tiny people that it can puke out or you shove into the mouth. It had like an opening at the back of its head. This thing was the biggest fucking plastic Godzilla within a month the tail broke off. So it was like a lizard where the tail dropped off, but it was still like giant.
Are you saying it was like a Betsy Wetsy where you'd feed it like humans and then it would shit out?
I've shit out chunks of... What's that quote? Better chunks of men than you.
There are chunks of guys like you in my stool.
In my stool.
Yeah. did not exist, Aaron. This is a fever dream. There was no feed Godzilla humans and watch him shit. That was not
William! I'm calling my son.
bullshit.
William!
Yeah, we'll wait for that. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's got noise canceling headphones on.
But the reason why I mentioned it, other than it was a horrible flop and it was crappy as can be, is they redesigned what Godzilla looked like so that he looked more like, and it was the horrible CG post Jurassic Park, where it was like, ooh, we've seen what Jurassic Park could do. Let's do a shittier version of that. So Godzilla kind of looked like a Tyrannosaurus. And he had little baby Godzillas running around chasing people like velociraptors. It was a shit show. Horrendous and horrible, to say the least. So, don't watch that one.
Never saw it. I mean, first of all, Hank Azaria, Matthew Broderick, come on. Boy, that sounds like action if you ask me.
Well, and this was, again, Matthew Broderick had a moment in the mid-'80s, right? He was Ferris Bueller, it was War Games, so all sorts of things, right?
I saw him at the theater in Brighton Beach Memoir.
Right, he did a bunch of Neil Simon stuff. And frankly, that's how he originally got on the scene, is he did a lot of Neil Simon plays.
Yeah.
By the mid to late 90s, his career was kind of flatline city. So the fact that he was kind of he was the headliner of Godzilla 1999, that ain't great. That ain't great. That's all I'm saying about that. Sweet.
Not arguing.
Jesus. So you said you don't like the look of this Godzilla. I kind of did like it. Now, granted, would we rather have the nostalgia piece of the dude in the rubber suit? Perhaps, but I feel like it worked for this world, what they were going for. You disagree?
I say if you're not going to go campy, it should not look cartoony. Because it looked cartoony, but everything else was a serious drama. I mean, you could say the old Godzilla was serious, but this had a serious storyline.
Oh, it absolutely did.
It's a serious movie. It's not schlocky. So
not at all.
I would expect a better monster.
See, I did not, and we can agree to disagree on this. I did not feel that he was cartoony in this movie. I just don't know how you do this. I mean, you don't want him to look like a T-Rex.
It's not a dinosaur. Right. It's not a dinosaur.
It's not meant to be, right?
It's a monster.
It's a monster. And we've talked about this before. Do you know why it's called? We call it Godzilla. In Japan, they call it Gozira. Do you know why it's called Gozira?
What does that mean?
I've said it before. It's a portmanteau of two Japanese words. The first is gorilla, or in Japanese, it is gorira. Not a joke. And the other word is, oh shoot, it just jumped right out of my mind. It is Kujira. Kujira is the Japanese word, which means whale. So Godzilla is literally two words, gorilla and whale, that they kind of squished together to make a new word, Gozira. So there you go.
Well, that would be interesting if it was the monkey whale.
The
ape whale.
That could be the sequel. Yes, very much so. So, obviously, Godzilla's got kind of an interesting past because in half the movies, like this one, he is a monstrous engine of destruction, essentially. Yes. He is against mankind, right? But sometimes he's mankind's friend, fighting off evil space aliens and evil kaiju and shit.
I never understood when that switch happened. It just switched in a different movie. I'm angry with you, Japan, but you're like, only I can hit my brother. If someone else tries to hit my brother, then I'm pissed at you. Yeah. I think Godzilla is the U.S., right? That's basically what it is. Godzilla is the U.S.
That's an interesting thing to talk about.
It is the atomic bomb. It is our rage.
Correct. So starting in the mid-40s through the 50s and maybe even the 60s, was kind of the nuclear age in terms of, obviously society, but also in cinema. So
Yeah.
if you watch, there were a shit ton of kind of, oh shit, there's been a radiation leak. Now there's giant ants or giant
Right.
grasshoppers or
Well,
giant
that was
rabbits.
also the 50s, I think. So
Yes.
back when we had the nuclear testing and all of that. But now in the 40s, that we got the real stuff. We got real stuff. So now you're right. I interrupted you. I argued with you, and now I agree with you.
To be clear, which part are you agreeing with?
All of it.
Oh, thank you. I like that. Sweet Jesus. But it's from Japan. Now, America had kind of an underlying fear of nuclear weapons, right? So with the whole Cold War, with the Soviet Union, oh my God, that Cuban Missile Crisis, people were stop, drop, and cover as if that would help if a bomb went off next to you.
If I lay next on the curb, that'll protect me from the blast.
It will not. To be clear,
you might as well run out in the yard and drink a beer and stare right at it.
You might as
for
well.
God's sake. Might as well.
Would you want to survive some kind of decaying mutant?
That's the other thing. Well, I mean, what level of decay? Are we talking like Omega Man, Devil's Reign, or would I become an X-Men? Would I melt into a crayon puddle, or can I fly now? Unclear. Or do I have gills?
You have to flip the die, flip the coin, and see what happens. Could be you could be an X-Men, or you could be just molten guts on the floor. Who's to say? But Japan obviously experienced this firsthand, so their relationship and their fear of the nuclear age is much stronger. So this movie and movies like it were very much like dealing with the trauma post World War II.
And the aftermath.
Absolutely. No question. So it's interesting to think about. But to answer your previous question, I think Godzilla is a good guy when they can think of another kaiju that's creepier. Right?
Right.
If it's
Matura.
If it's friendly Mothra, then Godzilla's got to be the villain, right? If it's a kindly moth, then Godzilla's the villain. If it's the smog monster or the creature, the lobster
what about
creature,
Rodan?
Rodan,
or Turtle.
Rodan had its own movie, and sometimes Rodan would be an ally of Godzilla. I don't think, I may be wrong about this, but I don't think Godzilla and Rodan ever fought.
Ooh.
Interesting. Rodan was kind of a similar thing, though. Rodan was kind of flat.
Did Rodan fight Mothra in the Laval state?
I think in later movies, Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla would all work together to fight off other jacked up creatures. I think.
Right. We need to put down destroy all monsters on our list.
It could be. They were generally the good guys, but when it was like King Ghidorah or some of the three-headed, Monster X from planet whatever the when he came down, like that dude was always a villain. The three-headed golden dragon dude was always a villain.
Yeah.
And who knows what it's all about? Not this guy. But I have to be honest, if they do, what would the sequel to Godzilla Minus One be? Godzilla Minus Two? I don't know. But I can't imagine they would bring in the smog monster for the sequel, right? I don't know.
That would be the second atomic bomb, right? So you Googled it, of course. Zero is we're at base level. We're utterly devastated.
After World War II, we've been flattened. We're at zero.
Flattened. Here is one step more.
Right. We're taking it again. We're getting another hit because now Godzilla's effing with us.
Yes.
Basically. Absolutely. Why don't we jump right into the highlights, Aaron? What you got?
It's kind of interesting how it was like a machine. It was like one of those ray guns that needed to charge up, and you could see Godzilla charge up from the base of its tail until it like did its little nuclear blast.
Right. That was kind of an interesting thing that they did. See, in the old movies, Godzilla would just be spraying people all over the place with his nuclear breath. This time, like you said, he kind of charged up, and you'd see the plates, the Stegosaurus plates on his back, like popping up to let you know it's coming. I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
It was kind of. It's like he was one of the Iron Man, like it was Iron Man's pets or something.
How so? Please elaborate.
Because like Iron Man, when he puts his little mask on, and then the plates go click, 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 click all the way down.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Do you see this? How about off?
It makes sense now. When you just say he was like Iron Man's pet, I'm like, don't know what you're saying at the moment, but okay. It's all coming together. Basically, what's interesting about this is this establishes, first of all, during World War II, Godzilla attacks, what was it, Odo Island or whatever it was called?
Yeah.
And it was smaller, like Godzilla was a smaller creature, still gigantic, but smaller than what he becomes later in the movie, and is not radioactive yet. He's just an established creature that lives around this island, evidently. Did you notice that?
Who snaps and snarls. But when he's coming because deep water fish rise to the surface. And I was wondering if I didn't Google that. I wonder if that has something to do with like the nuclear bomb or something.
I mean,
like maybe when they were testing, they were testing it underwater. I don't know.
Well, I mean, or is it because Godzilla's coming from deep underneath the water? I don't know.
He can't be, because their plan to get rid of him involved drowning him.
Correct. Well, it wasn't drowning him. It was, but you're right. It does make sense regardless. Their plan later in the movie, jumping ahead to the end, because they've shot this dude with rockets and all sorts of shit, and he gets hurt, but then he heals. Like they've established that it's like Wolverine's healing factor.
Like Wolverine. He is at X-Men. I think you've put your thumb on that.
100%. So their plan is we're going to attach some shit to him, and then we throw the switch. It'll cause him to drop to the deepest trench, essentially. And hopefully that'll crush him. And if it doesn't, then we'll jack him right back up again, and he'll get the bends or some shit, right? And that'll jack him up. And neither of those plans particularly work. I mean, you could see he's damaged, but because of his healing factor, he's basically fine. So
I love the townspeople. They're like, dude, we were in the war. The government fucked us over. Angry, angry, angry. Can you guarantee this is going to work? And the scientists go, nope.
And he was right not to guarantee
and he was right. No,
one thing that's interesting about this is it gives you a little glimpse on Japanese culture, because the main character, like you said, was a kamikaze pilot. The war was essentially lost. That was the feeling. And yet they were still having these pilots, basically suicide missions, where they would literally crash their planes into the ships or whatever during the battles. And the main character was like, lands on this refueling island, essentially, and is like, yeah, something's wrong with my plane. And they check it, nothing wrong with it. Full tank of gas, ready to roll. Yeah. So they immediately are like, oh, so you're just a coward. You're just a coward who wasn't going to do it.
I just had some common sense. Yeah, and he gets home and his sister's like, F you should have died.
Right. Well, I don't think it was his sister, it was his neighbor. His neighbor was
very that was his sister.
No.
Oh, shit. She's just a rando?
No, it's like the moment people learned that he was a kamikaze pilot, and yet here he is, they all kind of give him the side eye.
Right.
Like, how dare you not commit suicide for the glory of Japan?
And crazy. It carries with him all the way to the end. The guilt and the shame.
Well, and later in the movie, I think it's the professor, whatever his name is very much like, in the past, Japan has valued our lives very cheaply.
Yeah.
But now we don't have to do that anymore. Now we can
Right.
value all of our lives. We all come home. That's the goal. And yes, of
Yes.
course. But it is very, I think it is kind of an interesting kind of peek into the Japanese culture of that time, where it's like, because I'm not a historian, but I know they talked about how some argue the reason why they dropped the atomic bombs is because the Japanese were very much like, we'll fight to the last man. We will not
Literally what
surrender.
I heard when I was in Japan.
Right. We will not, we
That
will, no matter
we
what.
will go. Yeah, we will not surrender.
Because that's the ultimate dishonor.
And it was called the War of American Incursion.
Well, then that's what they called the Vietnam. If you go to Vietnam, they call it the War of American Aggression. It's always the jacked up Americans doing some shit that they shouldn't be doing.
Like, isn't that your business what we're doing in China? Why are you insinuating yourself over here?
So
American
here's the
aggression,
thing.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the thing. It's like I watched, and again, take it for a grain of salt. It was The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
Well,
I guess
that's
it's The Last
history.
Samurai.
There you go.
It is true history. But what would happen is the generals or whatever, the captains who would lead the armies into battle, if they lost, the expectation is we're all just going to commit suicide. Because that is the ultimate. By losing, we've dishonored ourselves, we've dishonored our families. So there's no advantage, there's no tactical retreat. There's no live to fight another day. No, if you lost this battle, Superco, and that's it. So,
and suicide is not frowned upon necessarily the way it is here. It does not have that stigma. So if people lose their jobs and they're unsuccessful, they kill themselves. That there's I read this novel about Japanese culture, and there were organizations, there are clubs that get you in touch with other people that want to kill themselves.
The suicide
in the
forest,
same situation. Right? There's the suicide forest, which we haven't seen.
Well, which we will not see. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to preface this with a take all this shit with a grain of salt. This is some shit we heard, third hand. So don't.
I have read some Japanese authors. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass.
Stop pulling your racism out of your ass, Eric.
I can't help it. I'm Irish. They're known for their racism.
Point being is it's 100%. Point being, the idea is that it's not just not frowned upon. There are some circumstances where it's an expectation.
Yes.
You blew it. You've dishonored your family. So your expectation is you should commit suicide. That's the only honorable thing to do. So he's not down with that. And literally, there's a point where one of the mechanics at the beginning of the movie, again, all the mechanics on the island kind of look at him going, interesting. But one of them comes up to him and says, hey, I understand. This war is lost. I wouldn't want to be the one to fly in and commit suicide over, for no reason. For no reason.
Yeah.
And he literally says, good for you. I wish more of our guys would do that. He said something like that along those lines. Of course, then he's stomped on by Godzilla 5 minutes later. So
that's right. That's what you get.
That's what
for
you
supporting
get.
a coward. That's what you get.
But this guy, this main character, is clearly dealing with some kind of PTSD, even at this moment. Because when Godzilla attacks, they're like, hey, go jump in your plane because you got the 20 millimeter guns. You can shoot Godzilla. And he jumps in the thing, and he's just like, he can't bring himself to shoot Godzilla because he's too afraid.
Frozen. Yeah, he's just frozen.
Now, it's clear that it wouldn't have mattered. Knowing what we know, Godzilla, because later the other guys are shooting Godzilla, bolts just bouncing off. So he was probably right not to shoot at Godzilla in that moment.
It's goddamn Godzilla. What's he going to do?
He's goddamn Godzilla, no question. Now there's a scene they cut to where it's the Bikini Atoll where the Americans were testing their nuclear weapons, they drop the bomb there, and they show Godzilla basically getting hit with the radiation or the fire or whatever. You see him kind of like burning away. But we
Dude,
know
I think I
now.
must have fell asleep or something. I missed that.
You were often falling asleep. But so later in the movie, the dude whose name I cannot remember, Koichi, I think was his name.
All right.
He's now got, basically he picked up like a street urchin, a girl who's moved into his little like shack with a baby that's not hers.
Yeah.
So they kind of formed a little family unit there of kind of thrown together by circumstance.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And I like that old concept, because the person I thought was a sister, which is now makes it all even weirder, is just their neighbor. She kind of hates him, but the baby melts her heart. And she is over there helping. First it was checking on it. Then she's giving them food so they could make like rice milk for the baby,
Right,
or some kind of a porridge. And then before you knew it, they are like this extended family unit.
And you can see, I mean, literally, it's the whole country has been destroyed. So it's like his little area is just rubble.
Yeah,
and
it's
kind
just
of
flattened.
Just totally destroyed. So it's like little by little, okay, now I've made this little shack. I've made a little bit more money. So now I'm adding on to this area. He eventually gets a job that's super dangerous because of his ability to operate the machine guns, where they go around in these wooden boats. And because they said that the Japanese and the Americans have basically flooded the Sea of Japan with
these magnetic mines
all over the place. So they have to dispose of them. So they basically have him, because he can shoot, because using his abilities as a pilot, where you have to anticipate where your plane's going to be and where the other plane's going to be, and shoot kind of
because the boat's rocking.
Correct. So he's able to do that. And so now, because it's dangerous work, he's making more money and things are going well. But he's still kind of haunted by the choices he's made in the past.
True. I mean, yeah. He's haunted by the choices of his past. And he's seen Godzilla before. So like in all these kind of movies, suddenly he has the ear to the scientists. Somehow. And he volunteers to help because he still has this guilt. Now he should have some worry about when he is killed, or if he gets killed, who's going to take care of his fake wife with his fake child and his fake Tia over there.
Fake Tia, who honestly seemed like she was the same age as him, but she was constantly saying, yes, I have multiple full-grown children who've moved out, or something along those lines. She's right. Like, I've raised all my...
We'll never see. I don't go to live with. I'd rather live in the squalor here.
100%. But what was interesting and kind of heartbreaking is that he invites home the guys he works with for dinner. And they're very much like, oh, you have a beautiful wife. And, oh, we're not married. Oh, well, you have this beautiful daughter. Oh, no, this isn't my daughter. In fact,
isn't my daughter.
The little girl goes, Daddy. And he goes, I've told you many times, I'm not your father.
Shut your mouth.
The guys they work with are like, what the what is wrong with you? They were horrified, and rightfully so. Because it's true. It's like, you need to marry that girl. And you need to adopt this child.
They have zero content. This is like so very Puritan and not American. There is no hand holding. There's no kiss. They live together as a brother and sister.
Well, there's a little bit of something. There's a little bit of something.
Maybe an eye roll or an eye contact.
There was an eye roll. The occasional eye contact. Yes. No, I mean, you're right. They're living a very chaste
There's
existence.
No, welcome back, hugs. It's none of that.
It was furtive glances. It's the culture, Aaron. God damn it.
You make the move. No, they're already living together.
Correct. They were 100%. He was, and she basically kept the house and raised the child, and he went and blew up mines all day to put food on the table, essentially.
Yeah, she begged him not to. She said she would get something. And it's like, no.
I forbid you to die. She makes some
forbid you
comment
to
to that degree.
But in the end, she does go get a job and it plans on leaving the baby with the neighbors and was peacing out. And
you know why that
much to
was?
say.
Because she was tired of his bullshit.
Tired of his sass.
She was in love with him. Yeah. And in her mind, this was our family. But at every turn, he was like, no, she is not my wife. This is not my child. So she eventually was just like, and you could see she was sad, but she's like, I'm getting a job. Yeah. And I don't want you to have to take care of us forever in case you want to meet somebody. She kind of makes a comment like that.
And he doesn't correct her.
He doesn't, but there's something going on. See, it's the subtext, Aaron. It's not the words that are said. It is because he's very much like, you don't need to get a job. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, in case you want to meet. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's true. I might want to meet somebody.
He was not looking to the future. He did not see a future for himself.
Correct.
So he was not
the PTSD.
Right. So he does not see a future for himself. So correct. He certainly cannot imagine a world where he is married and with children and having a normal life.
He's not worthy of love. He is on
the edge. He's not worthy of love. And if he dies, it doesn't matter. That's why he's taking these high-risk jobs, because he thinks he should be dead anyway.
Correct. He's racked with the guilt of the fact, number one, he didn't go down with his ship way back when. And when he had a chance to take a shot at Godzilla, he didn't do it. And then like 15 of those mechanics got killed by Godzilla.
Let's face it, they would have all gotten killed too, and so would have him.
Of course. 100%. They all would have died. It would have just been one more body for the pile, essentially.
Correct.
But it's irrational. It's an irrational kind of depression. That's what he's dealing with. So now Godzilla is back, and he's big as a house, and he's wrecking American warships. He's wrecking Japanese warships, and it's so ridiculous because the Americans are like, we're not getting involved because we're worried about the Soviets. Okay, what about all those American sailors who are dead? Not worried about that at all? Good times.
We're getting the hell out of here.
Screw it. And even the government of Japan is like, not a big deal. No biggie. We're not getting involved. It's literally, it has to be like, the people's navy, essentially. It's like fishermen or whatever. Like, well, we were soldiers. I guess we'll have to handle this ourselves because the government won't even help us.
This is a whole political statement against the Japanese government.
Correct.
It's like, you betrayed us. Look how we suffer because of you. And they were not willing to enlist to help against Godzilla until they found out, are we back in the military? Are you going to betray us all over again? They're like, no, this is all volunteers. You can come and go as you please. Then a few people left, but most people said, okay, then I'm staying.
But again,
they don't trust the government.
They do not. And because they literally said the government lies to us. The government doesn't value our lives.
Right.
So even then, the guys who look like they're military types, they're not working under the auspices of the government. They literally, I think they said like, well, the government has loaned us a couple ships that we can use for the purposes of this. But they're basically on their own.
Pass you the keys.
Pretty much. Like, good luck with that. Luckily,
that Godzilla thing.
Now, there's a whole thing where they're like, well, we'll use like an experimental fighter that only Koichi can fly to shoot at Godzilla, piss him off, and then Godzilla will follow him and then fall into our trap. That's the plan. But Koichi is like, I've got my own plan. I'm going to be the kamikaze kamikaze pilot. And he goes and recruits the one surviving aircraft mechanic who he knows hates his guts, and basically tells him, I'm going to do the kamikaze thing. I need you to help me rig this thing like a bomb. Figuring this dude would be, hey, sure, count me in. Let's do it, because I hate your guts because you killed 19 of my friends. What's interesting is there's a moment where he says, you got to pull this stick to arm the bomb. I was watching this with Lucy. Lucy stayed and watched this whole movie with me, shockingly enough. And she predicted that was going to be an ejection handle. Now, it wasn't. It was the arm the bomb.
But there was an ejector seat.
Correct. There was a moment later, kind of a late reveal, where it's like there is an ejection, because that was the thing. The Japanese planes did not have ejection seats because you didn't eject. You went down with the ship. You fought until that was it.
They took all that stuff out because it weighed down the plane. So they wanted to maximize how far they could travel.
Right. Well, and also you'll find yourself highly motivated if there's no ejection.
There's no escape.
Right. You better be successful.
Yeah. Dang.
But there was. And so even then, the mechanic kind of came around and was like, hey, you know what? When the time comes, you can fly in and pull the ripcord. No one needs to die. No one else has to die over this. And luckily, he did that because, like I said, the horrible plan about dropping the deep sea monster into the deep sea didn't work quite as well as they would have hoped.
No.
So...
where was Mothra and the twins to save the day?
Maybe that's in Godzilla Minus 2. Could be.
Minus 2 or plus 1
or just 0.
Monster 0.
Any last thoughts for Godzilla Minus One?
Yeah, no.
Well, then why don't we go behind the scenes, shall we?
Lay it on me.
Instead of creating a new roar, the crew simply played the original Godzilla roar over loudspeakers and recorded the audio.
All right. I mean, who doesn't love a Godzilla roar? It's so distinctive and so cool.
Oh, it's dynamite. It is really cool.
It is.
Gareth Edwards, the director of Godzilla 2014, attended a screening of the film and described a feeling of jealousy while watching it, stating, "This is what a Godzilla movie should be like." Boom.
Yeah, not like yours.
Honestly, bro, Godzilla 2014 was a very big disappointment. Wasn't particularly good. If you want to have it be about Godzilla fighting other giant monsters, you have to make the other giant monsters cooler than that. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't see it because I knew it was going to suck.
Of the new Godzilla movies, not including this one, Kong Skull Island is great. Okay? It is great.
Yes.
Godzilla is mediocre. Godzilla King of the Monsters is lousy. It's lousy. And Godzilla versus Kong is pretty good. And I haven't seen Godzilla New World Order or whatever the hell it is. I haven't seen that one yet. So
Godzilla New World Order? Is that what you just said?
Frozen Empire. I don't remember what it was called.
Frozen Empire of the Trumps? What is that?
It could be something along those lines. Unclear.
Okay.
Unclear. According to Yamasaki, his Godzilla would remain close to the themes of Ishiro Honda's original film, stating, "I love the original Godzilla, and I felt I should stay true to that spirit, addressing the issues of war and nuclear weapons."
I mean, and I appreciate that, just except for the long, boring parts.
What were the long, boring parts, in your opinion?
It was kind of dragging. I mean, you go to see Godzilla to see Godzilla. I mean, I totally am jamming on all the politicalness, and it's
Okay.
very interesting. I like that. But this is one of those times we need more Godzilla. Less
Okay.
yakking. Normally, I'm not one for car chases and extended this or that, but
During the attack on Odo Island, Godzilla bites down on the mechanics to kill them, but does not eat them. This follows a long ago established rule by Toho Studios that Godzilla must never be depicted eating human beings. So there you go.
so I just bite you in half and spit you out. What does Godzilla eat?
Fish?
Mothras?
Moth 100% he eats Mothras.
The Mothra twins?
Let me ask you this. We didn't talk about this. About 3/4 of the way through the movie, Noriko, who is the love interest of this, pushes Koichi into an alley to save him from essentially
Right.
a nuclear shockwave, and she
Yes.
is presumably killed. That was a very upsetting moment for me. What did you think about that?
I was a little shocked by that.
It was
I'm like,
shocking.
I was like, bless her. She really gave him a shove, and then she was just gone.
And she was gone. Now, that being said, when it's revealed they find her alive, did that kind of ruin it?
It seemed very American.
It did. It did.
It seemed very happy ending. And I'm not opposed to it, but yeah. It seemed very American.
It did. And we have to have
Didn't
a
seem
happy
it,
ending.
it didn't seem so Japanese. I want more Japanese ending.
Now,
Less Americana.
less Americana. In the hospital where Noriko's in the bed, they show that she's got like a weird black mark on her neck.
It's a scorch mark.
Well, it's revealed that those are Godzilla's cells. So what does that mean? I don't know.
Shut the up. Are you trying to tell me that this is going to be like a Manitou
It
situation?
could be, right?
What do you mean it's Godzilla's cells?
I don't know. I didn't write the movie, but the director said those are Godzilla's cells. So there you go.
From what?
From Godzilla.
How did the cells get in there? Did they have sex? What is it? Did it take a nibble on her?
It took a little nibbledy dibble.
How did cells get inside? Okay. I was just going to make the comment that it was a very tastefully decorated, in a shabby chic kind of method, hospital room. There was the perfect red vase next to her with flowers, where she wore a coordinating bathrobe that with a similar pattern. It was very stylized and beautiful. I didn't have time to look for Zilla cells. Good Lord. Is this where baby Godzilla comes from?
Could be.
And will they step on its tail and make a little puff smoke rings come out? I love baby Godzilla.
It might. Let's talk about the cast and crew, shall we?
What does that mean? What do you mean in Godzilla cells?
I don't know.
He just said that to f me up. Now I'm going to have to come up with weird scenarios. And what does that mean? Is she the new one-eyed Godzilla? If she has Godzilla cells, because she's wearing an eye patch. So I assume her its eye fell out.
Fell out, mommy.
Mommy, is she going to become Wolverine? Like she heals and then someone grafts metal to her bones and now she's Wolverina?
She will have one Godzilla eye after this, I think is what they're saying.
It's not really a nuclear beam, but maybe just like a stream of vape comes out of there, or like little tiny from like a jewel vape, or little tiny smoke ring circles shoot out of her eye and are dissipated by the wind.
Could be, or it's just a fucked up eye. Who can say?
I want her to have a raisin eye and just some scales on her neck.
Is that too much to ask? Like
that's what I want.
Final battle.
Robert Englund.
Director Takashi Yamasaki. You might know him from such things as Godzilla Minus One.
I saw that.
The Fighter Pilot in 2013.
Nope.
Always Sunset on 3rd Street.
Nope.
And Parasite Part 1. How about that? You know?
No, don't know.
Let's look at the cast, shall we? Minami. I'm going to mess up these names, and I apologize in advance. Minami Hamabe played Noriko Oishi. You know her from Godzilla Minus One. Shin Kamen Rider in 2023. Let Me Eat Your Pancreas in 2017.
Should we add that to the list?
We might need to. And The Promised Neverland in 2020. She was quite good in this, actually. I don't know about eating pancreas, but that being said. Ryunosuke Kamiki played Koichi Shikishima. You know him from such things as Godzilla Minus One, Your Name in 2016, Summer Wars in 2009, and are you ready for this? He played Bo in 2001, Spirited Away.
God, I love Spirited Away so much.
There you go, from 2001. Anybody else you want to know from this movie?
I think we hit the one person that I know.
Let's look at the ratings then, shall we?
I apparently only see Japanese horror films, so
yeah, it's very upsetting. Godzilla Minus One currently has 99% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what the audiences gave it?
86.
98. Boom. Let's take a look at the top critics. I'm getting the sense you don't entirely agree with that analysis.
I mean, it is much better than I thought it would be.
Absolutely. Nick Shager of the Daily Beast says, as Toho Studios' new Godzilla Minus One proves, the Japanese know how to get the iconic radioactive behemoth right. Boom. Let's see. Anybody else I want to talk about here?
No, there's not.
Well, I hate to tell you this. There is one more critic that we need to hear from.
Uh-oh.
Our friend, AI Rex Reed.
AI Rex Reed.
What does he have to say about this?
Tell me, Kevin.
Buckle up. Godzilla Minus One is a surprisingly emotional monster movie that dares to take itself seriously. Because nothing says post-war trauma like a giant lizard with better character development than half of Hollywood.
Boom!
Thank you, AI Rex Reed.
Absolutely.
Aaron, what is your rating for Godzilla Minus One?
Well, I'm going to give the Rex Reed review a 5 out of 5, but I'm going to give this movie 3.5 out of 5. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's just a little slow for my taste, and which is weird because I tend to be the one who hangs in there with the slow, unless it's a Robert Eggers film.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.5 Godzillas shooting nuclear rockets out my A. There we go.
This movie's kind of interesting because it's ostensibly it's a Godzilla movie, but most of the movie is kind of like a drama.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a commentary on Japanese society after the war.
It's a Japanese culture, it's Japanese relationships. It's kind of an interesting combination of these things, but honestly, I know you said it's kind of a slow burn, but I feel like there's a lot of Godzilla in this. Right? It's kind of you get a bunch at the beginning, not a bunch. You get a good scene at the beginning, so you know it's going to be there. Then there's a bit of a lull. Then Godzilla's back in it, and it's Godzilla time. When he's walking through Tokyo, leveling the shit, it was serious. It was serious business, and I kind of liked it. I'm giving it 4 out of 5.
All right. I mean, I can see that. I can see why you would do that. I mean, when you watch the old Godzilla, you don't care. The main people could get killed, and you don't care.
Correct.
You don't want these characters to get killed. So when the not girlfriend vanishes after saving him, you're like, oh shit!
Right.
The other one was really a cartoon. You don't want anything to happen to the baby or the not sister or the not wife.
Right.
I mean, you do care about the characters.
You do. The performances are great. I think the story is great. I do understand what you're saying, though. There's a bit of a slow burn in the middle where it's strictly just kind of, relationships. What are we going to do? How are we going to live in this new world?
Right.
Where it's desolation.
And maybe that's my disconnect because I'm watching a monster movie. Maybe it's not a monster movie.
You want Gamera, the radioactive flying turtle.
Gamera!
I understand.
But I appreciate this.
Yes.
This is the next best thing to watching the original one. These other remakes are trash. Throw them away. I know you own them all, Kevin. Throw them away.
I do not.
This is the next best thing to being there.
If you haven't seen Kong Skull Island,
no, I'm not going to see that ever.
I tell you to see it. I demand that you see it. So 4 out of 5. You say 3.5 out of 5. Any last thoughts about Godzilla Minus One?
Yeah, it was surprising. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was typical trash, but it's not. It's cinematically beautiful. I don't like how Godzilla looks. Acting solid. It has flashes of old Godzilla. It's like a Japanese soap opera. It's like one of those Japanese dramas, the ones you often watch.
Often watch them, no question, on PBS.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much. Go to visit our pages across the interwebs. We're on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram. We're on TikTok still for some reason.
Still there until they take it from my cold, dead hands.
Like Charlton Heston once said.
Me and Charlie.
You and Charlie, absolutely. You can also watch us on YouTube at this very moment. And
you should.
You absolutely should. Some people want to see us. Some people would rather not. I understand. Whatever floats your boat. You can also email us, the podcast that wouldn't die at Gmail. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you?
Won't you please?
Aaron, what is your social media situation?
Let's just say I am on the Instagram. I am the Cult of Aaron. Join the cult. I have artwork for sale on Artsy First Dibs, Aaron Doherty. Check it out. Check it out.
Check it down now. As we like to do, we like to include our friends' thoughts and feelings across the interwebs. Aaron, what you got?
Marvin English wrote to us to talk about The Witch and how much they love that black goat, and can you find one like it on Facebook Marketplace? Bro, I don't know, but if you find one, I'm gonna stake one out in my front yard. It keeps the solar solicitors away. It keeps the Seventh-day Adventists away.
It's very
because I'm talking about who keeps ringing my goddamn door because I haven't charged the ring. So now I got to get up and answer the door. And it's always pestmen, solar men, or religious groups. The X-Men, where they bring their children and put the children between you and them so you don't verbally abuse them in front of the babies. So I think Black Phillip will take care of that.
I have to say that Marvin English must be an amazing fan of ours because we haven't even released the Witch episode yet. So good on you.
They sensed it. They sensed it.
The disturbance of the force. Absolutely.
Again.
Okay. Well, thank you, Marvin, wherever you may be. Next week, we're discussing a movie. I don't know if it's a horror movie. I don't know if it's a comedy. Could be anything.
Have you never seen this movie?
I've never sat down. I'm familiar with it. I've never watched it before. The movie is No, never. The movie
Oh,
is
Lord.
Reefer Madness. Reefer Madness. Do not smoke weed, or you could literally become a psychotic serial killer. So
You will
be
kill.
aware.
You'll become addicted. You will kill. You will be a raper. You will eventually commit suicide. Let this be a lesson to you.
Let it be a lesson indeed. It's also might be called Tell Your Children, evidently. So if you're looking for it, it may be called that. Now, you can
Will you
stream
be
it.
gathering your children around you as you preview this?
I might. I think it's important for our family.
It's an important lesson.
No question. It is free on Paramount Plus, on Hoopla, on Canopy, on
So,
Philo,
so
MGM
all the
Plus.
library apps for
Yes,
this is
of course.
educational.
Pluto TV with ads, Fandor, Plex is free, Prime Video with ads. List goes on and on. There's a million different things. Now,
Doesn't Plex sound like it's a porno site?
it may as well
It's,
be,
it's the
frankly.
X in there.
Now, if you want to buy it, you can buy it on Apple TV for $4.99. So
I
there
think
you
I
go.
got it for 99 cents at the Walmart 10 years ago.
Boom shakalaka. Now, we also may be appearing on another podcast to discuss Reefer Madness, but it's still up in the air. So I'm not gonna talk
We're
about it.
waiting to hear. Yeah, we're not going to
We
bump that till we pin that biz down.
we shall see. We shall see. So send in any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may talk about it on the show.
We
So
might.
we just might. Thank you very much, and be well.
Be well.